Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is a shorter video and I will be giving you a design review of this laptop. This is a Toshiba Qosmio G10 and it is Toshiba's first Qosmio ever. This came out in 2005 with Intel's modified Pentium M chip and was intended to be a competitor to Acer Aspire's 9500 series and also to HP's new DV8000 from their home lineup, the Pavilion series, and among other laptops too, with a 17-inch display. Now, this is not Toshiba's first 17-inch laptop. That would be their satellite P P20, which was a large portable HTPC with two modular slots in the front where you can replace the batteries with a TV tuner or another optical drive. But this is not their first 17-inch laptop, but it's their first Qosmio. Toshiba created Qosmio to be a dedicated portable HTPC line for people who wanted the convenience of multimedia that an HTPC gave them, but they didn't want something that couldn't be taken on the go, and this was very appealing in Japan. The smaller versions of this, the F10 and E10, sold way better than the 17-inch one, but this still sold way better than it did internationally. The failure of this thing in the international market gave Toshiba a reason to improve, and for their 20 series, they made several changes to not only the design, but a lot of other things too. So, let's take a look at the design of this thing. Now, you can see this thing is definitely meant to be an Apple competitor. They opted out of the number pad and instead gave you a much cleaner look with these empty things on the side. They gave you still a pretty small trackpad, but it's pretty normal for the time, so it's nothing bad. They did give you some good quality speakers, at least according to them, and a good quality screen, and of course they gave you a thinner case than the competition, thanks to Intel's new and improved Pentium M, which made things a lot more compact compared to the Pentium 4s used on these desktop replacement 17-inch laptops the years prior. What's interesting about this thing is just how sleek it looks. It has that Gen X soft glove look with the fake aluminum, but it does look really nice. The paint has held up really well. Toshiba did have good build quality at this time. And these are not exactly that difficult to take apart either. What is very interesting about this thing is the ports. You can see here USB 2.0, mini FireWire IEE 1394. You can see here a Super Combo SD, Memory Stick Pro, and XD card reader. You also have a PC MCIA card reader. Although you can see this thing up there that's, I don't know if it's blocked off or just, I don't know why there's two icons there. You have the Wi-Fi toggle switch here, and I forgot to mention over here there is a Kensington lock. There are no ports on the front, but you do have the indicator lights here showing that the computer is plugged in and that it's on. I don't know what this is. I presume it's an IR sensor, but it's not black, which is weird. I think that is a microphone hole, but I'm not sure. On this side, you have your volume slider. You have audio in and audio out. Although based on this thing right here, it indicates it probably supports SPDIF, but I don't think so. This is a Super Combo DVD drive, but I don't think it's dual layer, unfortunately. You do have another USB 2.0, but the back is where things get interesting. Here you have S-Video in and AV in, although you have to get an adapter. And you have I think what is coaxial in, but I'm not sure if that's the case or not. Or if it's FM, it could be FM, given how there's a blinking plate, because the European connector is different, and it would be about that radius, I'm not sure. You also have Toshiba's proprietary power connector. You have this nice thing right here, which is called modem. You have S-video out. I want to say this is Toshiba's proprietary docking station connector, but I don't know if it's proprietary or not. VGA out, 2 more USB 2.0s, and your gigabit Ethernet. The bottom of the case is pretty normal, although instead of a black plastic, they painted this a sort of gray, and apparently these are prone to yellowing because they use like a unpainted mold that's already gray. But what's interesting is the battery situation. If I were to unlock this thing and then slide this, you can see there's no battery, but there's this thing. That's because the battery clips into this sort of bracket, and then it goes inside right here. You lock this thing, and then the battery's in. However, if you don't want the battery to maybe reduce weight, or you don't want the laptop to think it's going to run on battery power, it could interfere with power if one of the capacitors for power is blown, then this is actually pretty useful. And especially for me, since I don't need the battery in a laptop. But besides that, the bottom is pretty unremarkable. There's not even like a space for a quote-unquote subwoofer that other manufacturers already put at the bottom of their 17-inch laptops. But you can see that it is relatively the same level, so there's no like slant going on here. There is a slight slant though, for cooling of course. Now, this thing is essentially their even higher end version of their satellite M60 or M65, which at the time was their flagship 17-inch laptop, which also had very similar, if not identical, specs. I have one of those too, but I have the lower end version without ATI graphics. But let me show you one extra thing about this thing that makes it a Qosmio. That is the plethora of buttons, because this is a portable HTPC after all, so you gotta have all the nice buttons. Besides the power button, you have a button which is for TV. I guess it opens the Qosmio Player TV mode, or you could probably configure it to open the Media Center TV mode if it has Media Center Edition installed. You have, I think, what is for music and video, probably for the Qosmio player. Play/pause, stop, track back, and track forward, although I think if you hold it down it becomes fast forward and fast reverse. You have a record button, which is very useful, and I think that, I don't know what that does. I think it has something to do with a light. And you have a button for the AV in mode, and a button for AV out. I'm not sure what that does. But what makes this interesting is what you can do with it in retrospect. Yes, back then this is for watching TV on the go or something. I don't know if it supports digital antenna or only analog antenna. If it supports the latter, this is much more useful. But because this has AV in, you know what you can do with this thing, right? You can plug in a video game console to this thing, and using the Qosmio player or some third-party software, possibly record yourself playing the game. I don't know what the highest quality the capture card on this laptop supports, but I bet it's good enough, because most old games are in 240p anyway through AV, so I don't think it matters. But still, that is a really cool thing to have. I know most people who do retro gaming would probably use emulators, but this is cool if you want to do this through real hardware, but you don't want to set up a monitor. You can just use this thing as your monitor, which is so freaking cool, and you can record your footage, which is awesome. Now, I cannot do a full review on this thing because I don't have the recovery discs for it. I do have the recovery discs for the Qosmio F10/F15, but I don't have the actual unit to use those on. But if you have the recovery discs or a unit with the factory Windows installation, please send it to me. I'll pay any price, I don't care. But this is the Qosmio G10. Thanks for watching this shorter video.